Jury selection in Bill Cosby's retrial will begin tomorrow. The comedian's first trial ended with a hung jury. He's accused of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constan, a former Temple University employee. Outside the courthouse on Friday, supporters chanted, "Leave that man alone." The judge hinted on Friday that he could keep jurors from hearing prior testimony that Cosby would give quaaludes to women before sex. Prosecutors have selected the 5 additional accusers they plan to call as witnesses at the retrial. Model Janice Dickinson is one of the women who has accused Cosby of assault. The judge allowed prosecutors to pick the 5 that will testify. With such a well-known case, it's hard to imagine how attorneys on both sides will choose the jury. Our legal expert, Joseph Marone, here to break it all down. Good morning.
Good morning, and happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter to you, too. So this time around, I think Cosby faces a different landscape. Everyone, of course, talking about the pressure of the Me Too movement. Do you think that this changes the way the public, which will be the jury, sort of decides his fate this time around?
To some extent. I mean, I think the Me Too movement has an enormous effect, but the whole complexity of the case has changed just based on the judge's recent rulings. What we see different in this particular case is that he's now allowing 5 previous victims to testify versus the 1, which obviously is going to have an extensive impact on Cosby's case, versus, you know, just the 1 versus the complaining victim makes it a lot different.
Why do you think, Joseph, that the judge changed his mind? Because the last time he didn't want to let the prior bad acts into the courtroom, and he didn't want the jury to hear it. Why do you think he's changed his mind this time around?
Well, that's been the state's case all along, that he has this predatory behavior,
right,
that he admitted way back in 2005 in his transcript that he gave women quaaludes during either sexual activity or in a relationship. It shows that he enacted in this behavior. Now there were 60 women that came out at one point, right? They kind of condensed it down to 19, they got it to 5. But this has been the state's case. They want to show, look, this wasn't an isolated incident that happened with Ms. Constantine. This was something that happened over a long period of time with other women. And I think that is something that's allowed in evidence if they can show this behavior. Now, the defense is fighting it in a whole different way this time. As we've seen with this aggressive attorney they have, Tom Mesereau, he's got a whole different approach.
I was going to say, he's been really aggressive. They have to kind of be careful with the judge around this case, though, right? Well,
to some extent. I mean, they're taking some shots at the judge just to protect themselves for appellate issues. But I think their position this time is they're trying to get the civil settlement in. And they're also, there's a big fight, and you'll get a ruling next week that a witness that worked with the victim is going to make some type of statement saying that Ms. Constantine had some type of plan or idea that she almost wanted to frame Cosby, to begin to show that this was nothing but a greedy liar looking for money versus a woman that was attacked by a predator. And that's going to be the big debate of what's going on. And it depends a lot on the judge's rulings, because this is what's going to make or break the case. I mean, there's been so many pretrial motions, and deciding what evidence is this is going to be a tactical case, what you're going to see. And it really starts Monday with the questioning of the jurors and getting the jury pool in place.
That's what I was going to ask you about also. Last time we had to go outside of the area to seat the jury. This time we're going straight to Montgomery County. How do you do that fairly?
I think this time it's not going to matter, because it's been such a national case. And even though Montgomery County people, the community, got an up-closer look last time because they were there, it's not going to matter whether you're in Allegheny County or you're in Montgomery County. Now the question is, can we ask enough questions? Can we kind of mold a jury pool that's going to be impartial enough to render a fair decision for Mr. Cosby? And you also see the defense has already asked the judge they want to ask additional questions, and obviously the state's fighting that. But you'll spend all next week picking this jury. It's going to be a long, long, drawn-out case.
It will. All right, we'll have you back next week and talk about what happened.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.